Los Angeles, South Norton Avenue, January 15th, morning, 1947. Betty Bersinger walked along with her toddler on a weekday stroll. In a vacant lot in the distance, she spotted what appeared to be a disassembled mannequin. Upon closer look, she discovered a horror that would shock and puzzle the city of LA for decades. A young, aspiring actress lay before her butchered and mutilated. She immediately ran to the nearest phone. This was no mugging gone wrong or some gangland execution. It was a gruesome, cold-blooded murder. Who is this woman and what happened to her? The mystery of the Black Dahlia began. Her corpse had been severed at the waist and completely drained of blood. The two halves sat a foot away. Her face suffered a slash ear to ear to create a forced smile. Cuts dotted her legs and chest. Marks from rope or some braid marked her neck, wrist and ankles. Her intestines neatly hid beneath her lower half. Portions of her body were meticulously stripped to the bone. The nature of her wounds suggested some knowledge of human anatomy. Was the killer a doctor or a surgeon perhaps? Her arms and face were left posing to the sky. The brazenness and peculiarity suggested the murderer had no fear or shame. The press quickly latched on to the lurid crime, nicknamed the Black Dahlia in headlines. As the LAPD launched an investigation, the case became a media storm. How and why was she killed? Was she a random victim of opportunity or specifically targeted? Without solid leads, the trail went cold. We delve into the open case that is the murder of the Black Dahlia. To understand what happened to Elizabeth Short, we must go back to the beginning. Born in 1924, Beth grew up in Massachusetts as the third of 5 sisters. Her childhood was marked by health issues and loss. At 6, her father disappeared after losing his entire savings in the 1929 stock market crash. Mrs. Short believed him dead. As a child, Beth suffered from severe asthma and bronchitis. By 15, she underwent lung surgery and was advised to stay somewhere warmer. Mrs. Short arranged for her to spend winters in Florida, but soon after, Beth's father resurfaced through a letter, having started a new life in Vallejo, California. In 1942, following her dreams, 18-year-old Beth moved there to reunite with her now very much alive father in LA. After heated disagreements, she moved out a year later and began cashiering at the base exchange at Camp Cook near Santa Barbara. After an unhealthy relationship with an NCO and an arrest for underage drinking, she returned to Miami. There, she rubbed shoulders with more Army Air Force. The war had drawn many men to fight, and many women to them. Airmen in particular became even more glamorous through movies and newsreels, as Clark Gable and Jimmy Stewart enlisted to fight in the skies. Ladies like Beth saw heroism, daring, and pure masculinity in the uniform. In Miami, Beth fell in love. She was engaged to a Major Matthew Gordon Jr. on furlough, as many did. He died a day after Japan's surrender in a plane crash. Looking to start fresh, she moved to Los Angeles in 1946 to reconnect with one of the Major's friends and to pursue a career in the booming film industry. She stayed with friends, searching for acting opportunities. A beautiful and charismatic lady, men were instantly drawn to Beth. But she kept them all at an arm's length, not engaging in any serious relationships in LA. In her final months, Beth drifted between various rooms and arrangements. She took a job waitressing while striving for her acting break. All that's known is that after a date with a married man named Red, Beth vanished January 9th, 1947. Witness testimony differs wildly where she spent the hours after the date. It would be 6 long days before her ravaged remains were discovered in that vacant lot, sparking one of the biggest murder investigations in LAPD history. That vacant lot offered detectives their only tangible clues. Her corpse was cut clean in half with surgical precision. Patrolmen searched the lot and surrounding area thoroughly. Tire tracks from an unknown vehicle pressed into the dirt near Beth. They also found a blood-stained cement sack. Detectives theorized it was used to transport and hide the corpse prior to dumping it. The coroner's report revealed more clues. Beth's body showed evidence of blows to the head and face. The rope marks found suggested she'd been tied up long and possibly tortured. They concluded these crimes happened elsewhere. They ruled cause of death as shock from lacerations to her face combined with the blows inflicted. Once the FBI identified Beth's fingerprints, the investigation would face humiliation. Beth's mother in Boston was contacted by reporters before the LAPD. A reporter from the LA Examiner lured her to LA under the ruse Beth had won a beauty contest. Only upon arrival was the awful truth revealed in what most would consider a heartless media ploy. Reporters sensationalized all aspects of the crime. They focused on Beth's looks and personal relationships, painting some femme fatale gone wrong. Witness and lead testimony became poisoned by headlines and publicity. Detectives waded through fact from fiction to retrace Beth's final days. A joint LAPD, LA County Sheriff, and California State Trooper task force of over 750 detectives and officers investigated Beth's murder. Men from Beth's love life, including Red Manley, were all cleared as suspects. Roommates and acquaintances suggested Beth had shunned sexual advances from Mark Hansen, an older nightclub owner, shortly before disappearing. But Hansen, who confirmed Beth's found purse and shoe were hers, had a valid alibi. A break came when the LA Examiner received a phone call from a man claiming to be the killer and promising to turn himself in later on. 3 days later, the Examiner got a suspicious package on January 24th. Inside were Beth's birth certificate, photographs, and an address book embossed with Hansen's name, all doused in gasoline to remove fingerprints. Simultaneously, detectives found a handbag and shoe also doused in gasoline. More letters arrived from someone claiming to be Beth's murderer. These alternated between confessing and denying guilt, while challenging police to catch them before they turned themselves in on a specified date. But these letters end nowhere when the suspect failed to appear as promised. Another letter arrived in the same style and cut-out letters as the previous ones. "Have changed my mind. You would not give me a square deal. Dahlia killing was justified." The LAPD subpoenaed the nearby USC Medical School to investigate their students to no avail. The detectives leading the case concurred that the media circus had compromised their investigation. As the trail grew cold in 1947, the Black Dahlia investigation wound down. In the following decades, over 500 people confessed at one time or another to Beth's murder. Police determined these all to be false, either as mental illness or desperation for attention. With the case unsolved, the obsession over pointing to suspects never faded. They ranged from prominent physicians to bellhops at hotels Beth stayed at. Without any further evidence, bringing justice for Beth Short remains out of reach. Wild theories have generated trying to explain who killed the Black Dahlia and why. Some suggest Beth was sacrificed in a satanic ritual or possessed knowledge of a secret lesbian mafia controlling Hollywood. Celebrities Orson Welles, Bugsy Siegel, Woody Guthrie, and Norman Chandler have been named suspects in speculative books. More serious theories link Beth's killer to similar crimes in wartime LA and post-war Cleveland. Of all the suspects, Dr. George Hodel has some of the strongest theories fingering him as the Black Dahlia killer. A physician and surgeon, Hodel possessed skills necessary to so clinically dissect Beth. His son Steve, formerly an LAPD homicide detective, claimed his father killed Beth Short and others in the 1940s. Steve Hodel cites his father's training, access to surgical instruments, and his father's sudden trip abroad in 1947. Recordings of Dr. Hodel from an old wiretap have him cryptically boasting, "Supposing I did kill the Black Dahlia." Without hard evidence or a confession, even this is speculation. Over 75 years later, Elizabeth Short's murder carries an undeniable legacy, but no definitive conclusion. Hundreds of novels, movies, and speculative literature have been published about her murder.
Elizabeth Short's social security card. Jesus Christ.
Beth Short became an icon for the glitz and seedy underbelly of the 1940s Hollywood. Her case reformed policing protocols and handling of violent crimes against women. 2 weeks after the murder, it led to the first sex offender registry. Her difficult life and cruel demise had indeed shed light on the demons who inhabit the City of Angels.